And happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show. This is episode 115. Myself, Danny Torres. We got Jonka and we got Brandon. And today's episode, a little different. If you guys know, Tuesday, which is Halloween tomorrow, is the NFL trade deadline. And we're going to be taking you guys division by division, team by team, looking at what is necessary for each team as this season moves on, and who are the Super Bowl contenders, who are not the Super Bowl contenders, and what moves can make these certain teams Super Bowl contenders. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're obviously going to recap this past week of football. So you guys are in for a treat today. But you guys know the way we kick things off here at Plug Talk Sports. We're going to go into our shameless plug and plug of the week. So we did bad news last week. Let's do good news. Brandon, good news. What's something good going on in life right now or the world?
Are you kidding me, man? The NBA is back. The first week of the NBA, having a lot of great action. For Heat fans who do watch this podcast, not the best action, I'll have to say, for them. But besides that, a lot of things going on. Wembanyama debut, Luka Doncic and Zach LaVine, getting into it basically early off this season. And Cam Thomas out of Brooklyn, he's back, man. 30-point games, 3 straight. Plus, they also got their first one against the Hornets tonight. But, it's really blessed to see more basketball on the timeline.
Jonka, talk to me, man.
We're going good or we're going bad?
We're going good.
We're going good? All right. It's going to have to be – I'm going to talk about more basketball, but I'm going to do – I'm doing an overall sports thing. Zion Williamson looking healthy, looking absolutely stud. Steph Curry might go for an MVP season this year, looking crazy right now. I know Daniel has mixed opinions about Zach LaVine. Hey, you saw what he did.
He's tough.
I'm telling you, the Heat should, if they're not gonna go for James Harden, go for LaVine, because it's either way. So, besides that, let me see here. The Lakers are losing, so that's a good thing for me. Oh, and then Hurricanes pulled out another overtime win to Virginia Cavaliers. A win's a win, even though it's an ugly win. But I'll take it. W's for Miami.
All right. This one, and Jonka knows, he was watching it with me. It felt great. El Clásico is this weekend, Real Madrid, Barcelona. You guys know I'm a diehard Madrid fan. And I'm not going to lie. First goal, Barcelona, they score. And I was just like, Jonka knows, man. I didn't want to talk to anybody, to be honest.
It's a flip. The switch is flipped. You could just tell his attitude, just like you don't even want to talk to him because you'll snap.
Yeah. It's not my best trait, but that's what Madrid does to me. And then I'm sure Brandon feels the same about the Celtics. I'm sure that he understands where I'm coming from.
Oh, yeah, definitely during May. A whole different ballgame.
And then let me tell you, this kid by the name of Jude Bellingham, only 20 years old. Oh, yeah, you got to give it to him. Oh, yeah, right there.
Belly goal.
Oh, man.
It's a legend.
me and Jonka, this guy rips a shot from like 30 yards out. And it just hit the back of the net. Me and Jonka literally just look at each other like that. And I got off of the table, bro, and I was like, yes, let's go. And then Bellingham again to win it over Barcelona in added time. That one for sure. As Jonka, I got out of the table and I literally took a lap around my house and I came back. My Saturday then turned very, very good. I was a happy man. It was a very happy weekend. Anytime you beat Barcelona, I love it. So I was very happy. So let's get into bad news. Brandon, hit us with the bad news.
Yeah. I don't know if it's bad news, but I thought there was kind of relating to bad news. So I did ended up going to the Florida Georgia game to work for the event.
Nice.
And again, not that bad of a venue. Only my second time ever in Jacksonville. For those who are unfamiliar with the TIAA Bank Field, it's kind of
Yep.
like I don't even know how to describe it. It's in a place where it's basically, you have a minor league baseball team there. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars facility next to this freaking oil rig of a stadium for where the Jags play. And then you also got I think the ViStar Veteran Stadium or something like that. It's a really weird venue to spot it between all this sports and stuff like that. But the worst part about it, and again, I'm working the event, but there's grown men, grown Georgia Bulldog fans, and again, this is a common thing in the SEC apparently, barking full blown, like loud, very loud barking straight at me, straight at like the Gators coming off of the bus, in the stadium, in the tunnels. And I'm just like, man, they gotta stop somehow, man. But no, I mean, Georgia ended up winning, I think, 42-20 over the Gators in that one. And that was a game, again, Georgia number 1 in the nation. They barked all the way through the night and all the way from my entire drive from Jacksonville out of the city. It was just crazy. Even in the gas stations, they were barking. So that was a hard one to hear throughout the entire day.
That's Brandon, that's quite concerning. To hear these people barking, it's a little concerning.
It's a little concerning, man. Again, you gotta love it. You know what I mean? You gotta love the big fans out there, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna be 55 years old barking at another man. I don't think that's my type of vibe.
I don't think barking at another man, period, is a strange thing.
Yeah, it really shook me when it first happened. Like I flinched. I was ready to, protect myself when that happened. It's a different experience, man.
Jonka?
The bad. I mean, besides how bad the Heat have been playing, we're like 3-4 games in already, and Jimmy Butler and Adebayo, they're taking games off already for days up for rest. Bro, rest? Come on, bro. Like, people pay to see you. Like, quit the BS already. Like, Adam Silver has to do something with that, man. Like, they have to fix it. I don't care about incentives anymore. Like, force each player to play, or else there will be a suspension without pay or something, because I'm getting really sick and tired of this, bro. Like, to be honest. Like, if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, we basically lose the game, or we're about to lose the game. And without Adebayo, our second best player, we basically could lose the game again. So it was like, even without both of them, and he can't afford to lose games, especially with our roster not being as good as it was last year. We're supposed to, like, now leave it up to Tyler Hero, so to hopefully carry the offense without Jimmy. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, I'm really kind of fed up. And for the NFL side, bad news for me, technically. But Kendrick Bourne has torn his ACL, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. So how bad the receiving core is for my Patriots has just gone even worse, because our number one is not a number one anymore. Now we have to leave it to Juju as a number one. And guess what? That's the Juju is going to go into poo-poo. And now it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Get ready. Get ready for Patriots to tank. Get ready.
I'd say bad for me is going to have to be something Brandon actually tagged PlugTalkSports in today. And it has to be the in-tournament NBA courts. It is terrible. I'm gonna say like Chuck. I'm gonna say like Chuck. It's terrible. Let me tell you, I don't know where they thought this was a good idea. Look, the nicest thing I ever seen is when, way back in the day, especially like 2006 NBA Finals, when they had the trophy under the logo on the court. Yeah. That was really nice. That was really nice. And like finals in cursive.
Yeah, the script, they got to bring back the script on the floor instead of like, and again, I understand the whole like ad stuff. You bring out the trophy now in a freaking Louis Vuitton bag, apparently. But I mean, just staying on like I mean, again, the tournament, not a lot of people were even asking about this tournament. Not a lot of people wanted this tournament. It's just a regular season game.
It's here, you're going to have it.
Yeah. And for Adam Silver to be like, hey, let's go 2K My GM mode, yes, absolute trash. I would have to say for the courts, but for him to go like absolute my GM mode on 2K and just design the courts in full color, it's stupid. I mean, then what? Is there going to be a specific jersey now already? I mean, the first games are going to be November 3rd for this
Yep.
in-season tournament, which again, Miami will go against the Washington Wizards for their first one.
Yep.
But it's, again, I don't want to say anything until I see it. I said the exact same thing about the play-in tournament, and then now it's kind of a custom thing to really be looking forward to in postseason play. But I don't know, man. I'm not very excited for that little tournament in December in Vegas. I'm really not excited for these games.
Now, I mean, the finals in Vegas?
Yeah, the Final Four, basically, of it.
Which, it makes sense because if you guys aren't aware, Las Vegas is scooping up every single thing that has to do with sports nowadays. It's absolutely ridiculous. Formula One, NBA, professional soccer. Yeah. It's now MLB's moving to Vegas. They're just scooping everything up. But yeah, the courts, if you guys haven't seen them, I'm going to post them tomorrow. Check it out if you just can't wait and want to see it tonight. It's absolutely garbage. All of them, to be honest. Not just the Heat one. Right there, absolute trash. It is very bad. That's all I have to say. It is very bad. It's poor marketing. It looks like they sent this to, no offense to preschoolers, but to preschool. And they said, hey, kids, design something. You have the chance to have your court in the NBA. And that's what it looked what happened. And yeah, that's going to have to be the worst thing for me. Thank you, Brandon, for saying it. I mean, I probably would have seen it later on, but Brandon is the one that tagged Plug Talk on it. And I saw it and I was like, what is this? Like, I thought it was like a concept. Like, I thought it was like a concept court until I actually saw it's going to be for real. And I was like, yeah, they keep getting worse and worse, man. And it can't get worse. Last thing I'll say is MLS and NBA are competing right now with who can do crappier things. Because this whole best of 3 series in the MLS playoffs is absolute garbage. Jonka, lift up that sign again. Absolute trash. That's what it is. And to quote Brandon, that is a guarantee.
Guaranteed. And also, what I would say, one thing too, because a part of that tag on Twitter, aka X, that we do have for PlugTalkSports, it shows the Heat's court.
Yeah.
Red and gray. Where do you get the gray from?
I don't know.
What I mean? So
I can pick a designer from MDC and they can come up with a better design. These people will make millions of dollars as designers, and that's the best they come up with. Red and gray. I said it. Bro. Come on, bro.
Can't make this up, man.
You can't. You really can't. You really can't. But anyways, let's get into it. I'm going to read you guys the scores from this past week, and I'll go over the standings as well, and then we'll get into it. So on Thursday Night Football, it was the Buffalo Bills defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-18. We had the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Los Angeles Rams 43-20. We had the Dolphins defeating the New England Patriots 31-17. Sorry, Jonka. We had the New York Jets defeating the New York Giants 13-10 in overtime. Jacksonville Jaguars defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-10. We had the Tennessee Titans defeating the Atlanta Falcons 28-23. Carolina Panthers getting their first victory of the season, 15-13 over the Houston
was
Texans.
Amazing.
I don't know, bro. I didn't see it, but 15-13 sounds like a trash scoreline.
No, bro. Trust.
We'll get into this later, but you guys know what happened in Minnesota. The Vikings defeat the Packers 24-10, but there's some big news there we'll talk about later on. New Orleans Saints 38-27 over the Indianapolis Colts. The Philadelphia Eagles 38-31 over the Washington Commanders. They take the season series, but boy, have those Commanders really, really tried Philadelphia this year. Seattle Seahawks now in sole possession of the NFC West with a 24-20 victory over the Cleveland Browns. We have the Baltimore Ravens with a 31-24 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Cincinnati coming alive. right now. The Bengals defeating the 49ers 31-17. I do want to say that ever since Kittle showed that shirt that said F Dallas, they're 0-3. Chargers defeating the Chicago Bears 30-13, and currently on Monday Night Football, the Lions only beating the Las Vegas Raiders 16-14. And we'll get in here into the standings just to see how everything looks on this Monday night. We'll start with the AFC East. At 6-2 in first place, the Miami Dolphins. At second, 5-3, the Buffalo Bills. At third, at 4-3, the New York Jets. And in last, 2-6, the New England Patriots. Tried telling Jonka that they were the weakest link in the division, but didn't want to believe me. But we carry on.
We got support.
AFC North at 6-2 as well as the Baltimore Ravens. Second, 4-3. Actually, there's three teams that are 4-3 in that division. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, and Cincinnati Bengals. So I think second place in that division's up for grabs. It's wide open. AFC South, we have another team that's 6-2. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then we got two teams, 3-4. It's the Houston Texans and Tennessee Titans. And then last, 3-5 is the Indianapolis Colts. We go to the AFC West, also 6-2 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Two teams at 3-4. That's the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. They could be 3-5 after tonight if they lose to the Lions. And at 3-5 is the Denver Broncos. We head to the NFC, starting with the NFC East at 7-1, the best record in all of football. It is the Philadelphia Eagles. In second at 5-2 is the Dallas Cowboys. At 3-5 is the Washington Commanders, and just struggling mightily this year. Same record as the New England Patriots. It's the New York Giants at 2-6. Also 5-2, leading the NFC North, is the Detroit Lions. They could be 6-2 after tonight. At 4-4 in second place is the Minnesota Vikings. In third at 2-5 is the Green Bay Packers, and in last, as well struggling at 2-6, is the Chicago Bears. We head to the NFC South. Two teams at 4-4 at the top of that division. It's the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. At 3-4 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in last 1-6, it is the Carolina Panthers. And finally, the NFC West. At 5-2 is the Seattle Seahawks. In second at 5-3 is the San Francisco 49ers. At 3-5 is the Los Angeles Rams, and at 1-7 is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, let's go back up to the top of the AFC East. Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Patriots. Let's start with the Dolphins. What do you guys think the Dolphins need to add or subtract before tomorrow's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline?
Nothing. Not a single thing. Jalen Ramsey comes back finally. Actually, I also want to talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
His first interception in the Miami Dolphins uniform, coming in the 1970s retro jerseys, baiting out Mac Jones. And again, sorry, Jonko. But I do have to say, it just shows the type of elite talent that he has for that secondary group, that type of elite talent that this defense has potential to have later on this season. And again, this is a team that is 6-2, one of the better teams in the AFC. And to do a trade deadline type of move where it's kind of last second or we can make the jump doing this, it can mess up chemistry. In reality, do the Dolphins really need it? I don't think so. The only thing I would probably say, just because of having Hunt injured as well as the O-line kind of shaky right now with Armstead, and who knows when those guys will return. I mean, that's probably the only way I would see Miami making a move here based on O-line. But with that being said, besides that, wide receiver group is good. Defense looks phenomenal. But Miami, they should probably keep it safe, and especially have all the teams in that division.
Jocko, what do you think the Dolphins should do at this trade deadline, if anything at all?
Man, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Brandon. It's gonna have to be somewhere in the O-line group, because as my Patriots suck at this point, like we all know. But like they were getting to Tua most of the. If you saw the game, they were sacking him and sacking him. So even that's with our defensive lineman even getting injured too. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be fixed because when you play a good team in the playoffs, you know, goes everybody that makes the playoffs, they're gonna elevate their game. And if they make, let's say, most likely they do make the playoffs, and your players aren't healthy or they came back but got injured again, and you didn't make any changes in the deadline, like you're gonna get screwed. So I mean, I would just go for it. Honestly, to be honest, just make an O line play. You know, maybe a position, maybe outside on the outside, maybe to guard, make some room for Mostert. But yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna say. Like they got receivers. They Jalen Ramsey's back. Maybe maybe get an extra like safety or an extra cornerback so that if Jalen Ramsey does go out again, you have somebody because you don't want to go into the playoffs with that. That would be the worst situation possible. But that's what I would do. I would just O line and maybe a backup to Jalen Ramsey if he gets injured again.
Uh, for once in my life, I'm gonna have to agree with Brandon here. I don't think they have to change much. I mean, like both of you have just said, I mean, if they're gonna have to add something or get something, offensive line. Uh, but other than that, I think the Dolphins should stick with the group that they got, right? To the wheels fall off to the end of the season, see where it gets them. And then I think once off season hits, then you really look back at the entire season and see what it is that you may need. Again, this is if saying the Dolphins don't win the Super Bowl. Obviously, that's the goal for all the teams that enter the season. Um, if the Dolphins don't win the Super Bowl this year, then again, in the offseason, you just recap, see what you need to add that's going to get you over that hump or to even improve this team even more. I would say for Miami, it's a good squad, but I think so far this year, I think they have struggled in big games. Obviously, we saw that in the Philadelphia Eagles game.
Bills.
And the Bills, yes, and the Bills, of course. I think, I don't know if adding another star, another big, because I like the receivers, Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I think you're set there. Um, I can't really say that they need to add a piece that's gonna get them over the top. I think they have it. I just think that they haven't played well in those big time, situations. But other than that, I agree with the both of you. I don't think they need to add anything. We
Oh wait,
jumped.
I have a question
Yeah.
for Brandon because he's the Dolphin guy. Has there any word on Jalen Phillips, or is he out for the season?
Jalen Phillips, I don't think there's any like confirmed word just yet, but they're not saying it's going to be season ending. I can't confirm that. It won't be season ending.
Van Ginkel's gonna have to step up for the Dolphins then.
Oh, he will, man. Trust me. I'll see at least 2 sacks a week. At least 2 sacks a week out of him.
We're going to move to the second place team in the AFC East, and that's the Buffalo Bills. What do you think the Bills need to add or subtract to their team before this 4 p.m. Eastern deadline tomorrow?
Well, I think funny enough, they kind of did the addition already. Like I want to say, what was that? A few hours ago, they got Leonard Fournette, running back, former LSU Tiger, and also Super Bowl champ with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they brought in that piece in. Of course, I mean, just looking at the highest rushing yards for the past few weeks, I'm seeing Josh Allen in one of those weeks. I'm also seeing a bunch of them that are going to be below 100 yards rushing, all by that of James Cook, who is really the primary running back for the Buffalo Bills. And not saying anything negative about James Cook, but do you really want to go into the playoffs having that as your primary guy on the run game, right? Because your offensive coordinators are going to go out and say, Josh, do something with Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis, or we're just going to be screwed out there. I mean, again, we're talking about a team that's going to be having games later on in the next 3 weeks against Cincinnati, Denver, and New York, being that of the Jets. Those are easy games. Now, you go get yourself Fournette, and I'm thinking to myself, Carolina's going to be shopping some guys. Miles Sanders, I don't know how long he wants to stay in that situation. Go get yourself another addition to that running back room, get the run game going, and test it on these next 3 games. But defensively, I think that Buffalo seems to be, I'm going to say like all the way solid, but they haven't allowed more than 30 points in any of their games so far through 8 weeks. And the D line, I actually like the D lines better than most other teams expected to be. Um, for why all that safety group, maybe some questions there, but I just don't know exactly who would push the envelope if it went out there in the free market, or let alone find someone to trade. But Buffalo themselves, I would have to say, it's the running back room. They got to add on some weapons.
Okay, Jonka.
For me, Buffalo's kind of tricky because like they got Gabriel Davis, they got Stephon Diggs, they Josh Allen,
Hey,
yeah, Kincaid, he's a stud. He's great. He might be rookie of the year. We don't know, but I think he should be one of the top players for rookie. Um, it's just like it's tough because the Bills hold themselves back because of one player, and I don't know if you guys know who that player is. It's Josh Allen.
okay, yeah.
He turns the ball over way too much. He's careless. So at points, he's careless with the football. He puts them in harm's way. Like we saw what happened with New England, great game, but like he's just at times he doesn't know what he's doing. Like he turns over the ball, he gives the other team good field position, and then it just gives them even more pressure to perform and do too much. He doesn't slow the game down. Like your team, like if I'm Josh Allen, you in your head know, okay, my team is good enough and that we are a Super Bowl contender. If I can just calm the hell down, do my job, take the game drive by drive, and not look forward, get W's, we can take this and go and get a Super Bowl for the first time. But like, he doesn't do that. I don't know what's going on. Is this season will decide if Stephon Diggs stays on the Bills right now. I swear. I'm telling you right now, if the Bills do not make the AFC Championship game, Stephon's out. Stephon's out. Now, where he goes, I don't know. Maybe he goes to the Cowboys with his brother. We shall see. But at this point, I don't think the Bills need anybody because I think they got a good defense. Their offense is good. They got weapons. I can kind of agree with the running back. Leonard Fournette he's experienced. He has won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. So he has that kind of pedigree. But like overall, I think they're solid. I just think it's just Josh Allen holding them back. But they can't get rid of him now. They already paid him. So
First of all, I just want to thank you for putting that such wonderful idea of my head of the Diggs brothers being reunited in Dallas. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Second of all, I don't think Josh Allen is all that bad.
no, he's not bad at all. It's just sometimes it's like we've seen this year, last year, the year before, constantly can't get it done. He constantly can't get it done. And especially now with the drama with Stephon Diggs, he said, "Oh no, there's no drama." BS, there ain't no drama, buddy. Listen, they had a window, and slowly, it's closing, and then Stephon Diggs knows that. So I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna work out. If Josh Allen doesn't at least make the AFC Championship, he's out.
Listen, I just think that there's sometimes in sports where you peak, but the problem is you peak at the same time as another great team. And I think that they've had trouble trying to overcome Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. I think that if the Chiefs weren't a thing in the past couple of years, I think that the Bills probably would have made it to the Super Bowl. But you know what? The Chiefs do exist, so it's unfortunate for them. To be honest, the run game for me, I mean, I think that Buffalo's been really inconsistent this year. They win some great games and then they lose some games that you're like, you should have won that game. Uh, Very inconsistent, but I definitely think the run game, I mean, they have the weapons, they have the quarterback. I think the run game's the only thing that's missing. And I think Leonard Fournette, uh,
It's
yes, it's just, it's not a huge, like, oh my God, but like you gained experience. So I think it's a good pickup for them. I think it might help. And let's see where it leads Buffalo. You guys even want to talk about the Jets or the Patriots? I mean, I don't even think there's
I
any
mean,
shot.
there's only one player on the Patriots that we could talk about. Former Columbus alum Josh
Yep.
Uche.
Uche.
He's been in and out of injuries, but whenever he was on the field, he's been really good. Like last season, he had six sacks, which was like the best he's had overall in his career so far. So he is really good when he's on the field, but just injuries have like really cursed him. Where would he go? I don't know.
Ezekiel Elliott's been a good addition for you guys.
Just I wish that O line would have been a little bit more healthy, but you can it's every year there's something. But whatever. The Josh Uche, I think where would he go? Somewhere where a team that needs some sort of defense in the back.
Chargers.
Yeah, I thought the same exact, literally right
That
in
is
my
a
mind.
Chargers build. That Patriot Los Angeles line, it's a great connection, man.
I was thinking the same thing, and also the Ravens. I think the Ravens would be a nice addition.
The Ravens have always been historically had very good defenses. Um, you brought up the Ravens, so let's talk about the AFC North. Anything in the AFC North between the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals, did you guys feel any of those teams need to add or drop?
Oh, absolutely. But I think out of all those teams, and again, as we started off this segment talking about the standings and the records and everything like that, it's a tight division.
Yep.
And unless you're Baltimore, you have no idea what's going to happen next in the next few weeks. And this goes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have Piggy, who's going to be dealing with injuries here and there, and at the same time, you're not really positive if he is the guy if you're a Pittsburgh fan. And then you also have Trubisky, who some may say was maybe should have stayed in Chicago. Maybe Chicago was a little bit too late of what they've done with him. And then now you have a situation where you're in the tough battle in the AFC where potentially you could fight for a wild card spot in the future. However, Pickett's not going to be able to get it done. Trubisky's not going to be able to get it done. No. The way that team, and especially the divisional battles they have in the future later on this season, with the Bengals finally somehow making a way out of it, and the Browns, they're not the same Browns. I mean, Amari Cooper has been a phenomenal connection with Watson.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. And honestly, I just think that's going to be more or less in quarterback. Now, who's available, I have no idea. Instead of trade deadlines and really basically availability, they just really got to find whoever they can. And in this situation, I'm thinking to myself, Daniel Jones is going to be coming back from being injured. Giants are not going to be willing to have – what is it again? I forgot the guy's name. Oh, Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor, yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, yeah. He had a phenomenal game for New York not too long ago, a few weeks in their most recent win. So, that guy's willing to ball. And honestly, I would probably say confidently he joins Pittsburgh. That's a starting job waiting for him, in my honest opinion. You go get yourself Taylor, that's a veteran, that actually is confident with the football. To be not going to say game manager, but he definitely does extend the play. That's something that Pittsburgh needs and probably the biggest addition that entire division needs.
Jonka, anything in the AFC North?
I think something for the Bengals. I know the Bengals running game. I know Joe Mixon is good, but I think they're one of the worst teams in running, and I think that's kind of holding them back a little bit from taking that contention step. But I know if I'm the Bengals, I'm calling the Titans up, and I'm going in for Derrick Henry. I'm going for Derrick Henry. I would try to make some sort of move for Derrick Henry. Hey, with Joe Mixon.
Brandon, talk to me. What's on your mind, Brandon? What's on your mind?
Hey,
that's a whole franchise right there you're talking about, man. That's a whole franchise. Like,
I mean, they were considering having talks for him, and then they say, "Oh no, we're not gonna offer him." But like, if you can convince him, give him a good enough package, like the Bengals they got some receivers and that are really good. You could have Irving, Boyd, maybe some picks for Derrick Henry, and you pay his salary.
I don't know, man.
true, but
big
do you
right
get
there.
rid of the weapons for Joe Burrow and then switch your entire offense? Because Derrick Henry is going to get the ball. No doubt about it. Like,
I mean, you got Derrick Henry, you got Joe Mixon, you got Joe Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Boyd. I mean,
you might as well be running the pistol the entire time, or basically doing draw every single time with the running back.
I mean, it's like you can either go head into the playoffs as one of the worst running teams in the league and hope for the best, or you can try to make a difference now. And besides, even if you do, let's say they do get Henry out of somehow, some way, and it doesn't work out, okay, you paid him like $5 million. Okay, that's done. He's out next season, and then you start fresh again. It didn't work out. Okay, boom. Like it's just for the next rest of the season. What can you do to improve? I think Derrick Henry would be a nice improvement.
I agree. I agree with Brandon on this one. I think adding Derrick Henry to Cincinnati is going to change entirely Cincinnati's offense. And I've heard rumors about Derrick Henry to Buffalo. And I've also heard rumors about Derrick Henry to Dallas, but I think that the rumors to Buffalo are more credible than the ones to Dallas. But yeah, I have to agree with Brandon on that one. AFC South, Jaguars, Texans, Titans, and Colts. You guys got anything on the AFC South?
I mean, look, it's always been the Jags, right? Like the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they're also 6-2, matching that with the Dolphins. Florida team's an all-time high, unless you're from Tampa. But I mean, let alone in the South, man, in the AFC, it's really interesting because the Texans are a better team than I thought they were going to be. And then you also have the Titans, who you have now, Levis. I mean, Levis had a freaking game in the Oilers baby blue, powder blue jerseys. So when I look at that entire division and how this thing's shaping up, the only team I think is going to be struggling right now is going to be the Colts, with Anthony Richardson now out for the season, and then Gardner Minshew over there. Pittman has been a great weapon, but defensively, I mean, they definitely got to add in more guys. I think that their D-line, it's as of average, but their corners, I mean, I don't even know the definition I should even put for them. They're just not good, So maybe they go out of their way and they figure something out to bring in maybe some all-star guy, maybe some guy that, a former contender does not need anymore. Unfortunately, I don't have a name at the moment, but definitely the Colts will be looking to shop around.
Listen, there's teams that go into rebuild mode and then they figure things out and they win a Super Bowl. And then there's just franchises like the Colts that they just can't seem to figure it out. It's been wild.
Catch a break. I mean, Andrew Luck in the middle of a preseason game retiring, and then now Anthony Richardson injured for the season. I mean, come on, man. It's bad quarterback luck. And I'm praying right now that nothing bad happens to Gardner Minshew, because that is America's quarterback. Let me tell you.
I love you. He's one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Anything on AFC South?
Man,
I agree with you, Brandon. By the way, Houston's a lot better team than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud is a beast.
Dalton Schultz over there too.
Man, it's just the Colts, man. Pobrecito. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Maybe an extra receiver for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that's all I can think about. An extra weapon, because their offense sometimes does get a little bit stagnant during games because they're doubling Calvin Ridley and there's not really anybody else open on the side. But that's all I can think about at this point, besides Derrick Henry that we talked about before. But I think that's it.
finally, last division in the AFC West. What do you boys think? I'm telling you, and I keep telling you, they're 6-2, but I don't think the Chiefs are who they say they are this year. I don't
They're
think so.
baloney. They've been trash. They've been fakers from last year, bro.
I
They got
feel
carried by
the
the
same
refs,
way.
man.
Listen to me. I feel the same way about the Chiefs that I do about the Philadelphia Eagles this year. The same way. I think they're fakers.
Bullshit.
What do you guys think is needed in the AFC West?
Okay, I'm gonna go in two ways. Because also shout out Russell Wilson, man, dug himself out of the hole. He's been having a good season so far.
Which, by the way, Brandon, I want to bring this up to everybody's attention, to America's attention. Don't you dare tell me and laugh in my face that Dallas lost to Arizona. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs lost to Broncos country. Let's ride. Like, come on.
Hey, man, it was historic, man. I mean, what was that, like 16 straight? I mean, losing streak snapped against a division rival for the Broncos. So it was a big game, and especially celebrating with Taylor Swift was the coolest thing I had to see on television. But yeah, I mean, I think that any of those teams, I mean, it's got to be the Raiders. That's going to be, you know, you say like, oh, the Chargers need something better. No, the Chargers need better coaching. Oh, the Denver Broncos need something. No, they need coaching, and they need something more of like, I don't know, an entire defense to get better. Maybe some weapons besides Sutton. But get Josh Jacobs out of Las Vegas. Like, I see this man running the ball down, let alone, you know, we're talking as they play against the Lions tonight, Monday Night Football. Not a single pass thrown to any receivers in the first half of the Raiders. You know what that is? That's Jacobs yard after yard after yard after yard. And all for what? For a team that's not going to make the wild card discussion, not even going to even get close to any bit of, you know, a first 10 picks in a first round or whatever like that for a decent rebuild moment. I mean, this is a team that from whatever we saw from the John Gruden era, now translating to what we're seeing now with them moving to Vegas. I mean, it just hasn't been connecting at all, and Josh Jacobs needs to go. So with that being said, you know, ship him out, trade deadline, not any additions that they need, but subtracting what should have been done over the offseason.
The Raiders said no, but do you think they moved Devontae Adams at the deadline?
No, of course not. That's the one guy and probably the only guy that's protected right now. The head coach can leave by the trade deadline, honestly. Like McDaniels could be gone easily.
Jonka, AFC West. What do you got for me?
I'm gonna have to. I'm not talking about KC. Screw that. I'm not gonna talk about no KC for me. It's gonna have to be the Raiders, man. I think they should trade Hunter Renfrow. I don't know where to, but get either a young receiver that wants to get out of a bad situation in a certain team, maybe a second round pick, and I don't know, a young player maybe to bring in. I don't know, some sort of trade, because I feel like Hunter Renfrow wants out. He's not enjoying himself with Josh. Was it Josh McDaniels?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the situation not working out for him. So I would trade Hunter Renfrow, get maybe with the Steelers for Deontay Johnson. It looks like he doesn't like it right now in the Steelers. Maybe a trade, you know, swap for him. He's a young star. He can catch. He's proven himself that he can be a star, but I don't know. Besides that, the Broncos, I know there was rumors about Jerry Jeudy. I don't know. I don't know. It's a yes and no for me for Jerry Jeudy. It's like some games he doesn't show up at all, and then some games like the one this past Sunday, he goes off.
Yeah.
It's just the inconsistency is there, and so like after this weekend, would they do it? I don't think so, because from what they saw, and they saw what Russell Wilson is now. They're on a momentum right now, so I doubt they'll trade him. But if they would have kept losing after what happened with the Dolphins, I think they would have traded Jerry Jeudy to some other team. Don't know where, don't know when, but I would look out for Jerry Jeudy for sure, and Hunter Renfrow. Tomorrow's going to be exciting, by the way, guys. Tomorrow's going to be exciting. I can't wait.
So we wrap up the AFC. We have 4 teams at 6-2. Who do you guys think is the top dog, the top contender, the team to beat in the AFC?
In the AFC right now?
Yeah. 4 teams at 6-2. For me, I'm not gonna pick one, but I think it's between Miami and Baltimore.
I got Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm not okay. I'm not a believer in Baltimore, man. It's one possession games. All right, they're barely getting the job done. I mean, there's some games where they're blowing teams out of nowhere, like of course the Lions game, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely got to be the Dolphins, though. I mean, their offense is incredible. The only issue about that team is just their aggression against some of those foes, such as the Buffalo Bills, who are just hard-nosed defensively that will really get at the quarterback. So the aggression part is the only thing I'm really concerned about. But I would have to say Miami is the team to beat until, Kansas City comes out of nowhere.
Okay. Now, let's start on the NFC. NFC East. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about the NFC East. What needs to be added to the NFC East, if anything?
I know the Eagles didn't they get this guy from what's his name? The defensive lineman. My God, bro, what's his name? It was for a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder. Well, I don't know. That's another addition to the defense that they needed. So that's a good thing for them. Dallas.
Look, before you say anything, I'll say my part about my Cowboys.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the Dallas Cowboys are good. They are contenders, but I think they need a piece that's going to push them over the hump. One piece, I think that's what's missing for the Cowboys. Brandon's shaking his head because he's like, they're going to be what they're going to be when it comes to January.
A single person, look, I'm going to just say it as this. If you join a team during this trade deadline that's not the Philadelphia Eagles in that division, you're doing suicide for the season. All right? I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying anything negative about the Cowboys, the Commanders, or the Giants, but if you're trying to tell me you're trying to join a contending team with an open conference, the NFC is not a place to join, especially with Philadelphia roaming around right now. All right? I'm saying as it is, if you're going to join the Dallas Cowboys, you better join them with like 15 other guys, all Pro Bowlers. Because from the looks of it, Dak Prescott looks incredible from his most recent game, but it's not every single week. CeeDee Lamb looks incredible, but it's not every single week. The Dallas Cowboys, in my honest opinion, impressive record, good stuff, but at the same time, I know you say the Eagles look fraudulent. Philadelphia is the best team in the football league right now.
Okay.
I feel right now like the SpongeBob guy. Get a load of this guy. This guy stinks, bro. Jalen Hurts has looked garbage this year. You guys want to talk about Dak Prescott? He's got more interceptions than Dak Prescott.
Hey,
the Eagles do not look good.
Hey, Jalen Hurts or not, they're getting the wins done. I mean, if anything, I'm going to use this as an example for their most recent game against the Commanders, a 38-31 win. It was an ugly win against a team with Sam Howell leading the way, right? In a FedEx ship shop field or whatever it was that. But at the end of the day, they got the job done. And that's what a lot of teams, in the sense of, how did Philadelphia be able to, exclude themselves away from Miami in their primetime Sunday game? I mean, the offense responded, but the defense, heavily against the run defense. Whatever they're doing against, they always figure something out at the end of the day. And that's where you kind of make that kind of decision of, who's the main guy in the D-line? Oh, Carter looks really great for Philadelphia. Who's the main receivers right now from the Eagles? Oh, A.J. Brown's on a tear recently. And Goddard's still one of the better tight ends in the NFC. So, yeah, Hurts is not the best. And again, kind of controversial, but I would have to say Hurts isn't the best quarterback in the division as of right now. But the overall team itself, I can't even imagine that. I mean, honestly, I hate to say it like this, but I can't imagine an NFC opponent scoring more than 24 to 21 points in the playoffs against this team.
You know what? I'm going to just keep it right there. We'll see next Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Things will be settled.
I can't wait for that.
Things will be settled, Brandon. You heard me? They will be
I'm
settled.
not an Eagles fan. I'm just saying. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. That's all I'm saying.
Brandon, settled.
So for the Eagles,
Settled.
I think they just need to fix their offensive problems. Like I think they start off way too slow. They have an excess of weapons, but I feel like they run the ball way too much for the talent they have on the outside with Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard. They got way too much on the outside to be running the ball. I understand Swift and Kenneth Gainwell are weapons and they're really good, but like if you can set the outside, that would put that would back up the defense and leave the lanes open for the running back. Keep the defense guessing. That would help the. I feel that will help the offense for the Eagles flow a little bit better because I feel like right now, like the first and second quarter, we see them struggle, and then all of a sudden in the third and fourth in the second half they blow because you see Jalen Hurts start chucking the ball all over the place. Because what he should have been doing from the beginning, but that's just the Eagles. Cowboys, I agree with Daniel. They're a piece or two away from legit being scary for a Super Bowl win. But I don't know if it's a running back. Maybe it is a running back.
Something that's going to be either a running back or another receiver for the red zone.
I would make a call to for Jerry Jeudy. Hunter Renfrow or Jerry Jeudy, since they're available.
That's fine. That's fine. I already told you. We're gonna leave it at that. I told Brandon. Settled. That's gonna be word of the week. Settled.
Washington. I think they're fine. I think maybe improve the defense a bit. Maybe just improve the defense a bit. They got Jawan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas, Scary Terry. Their weapons are fine. Sam Howell, if he continues to play like this, he's okay. But the defense is not good. Like the defense is not good at all. So I think they should improve on the defensive side, which is why heading into that point. Man, I think they should try to go for maybe trade for a player on the like a safety or a linebacker to improve the mid range, the midfield. But overall, like you can see them, they're getting better every year. But I think just their defense is just not there yet. So maybe a defensive coordinator, maybe change up the scheme a bit. But overall, I think that's what I could say for the Commanders. I hate that name, bro. I hate that name. Commanders. Oh my god. And then the Giants. Waller's nice, like Daniel Jones went down, whatever. Jalen Hyatt hasn't really shown me anything. The Giants are just the Giants. Like I have nothing else to say. To improve, I don't know. Don't pay Daniel Jones the contract. I don't know. Maybe try to go for Hunter Renfrow. He would be a nice addition since he's already played with Waller. Chemistry would work. You don't know, but maybe sign Hayden Hurst as like maybe a dual tight end thing in the Giants. Hey, it could work. You have an extra blocker.
Let's move to the NFC North, because that's why are we talking about the Commanders and the Giants? Like,
hey, you brought the division.
NFC North, please. What do you guys think on the NFC North?
For the NFC North, I mean,
I think the Lions should trade for Chase Young. The Lions defense has been a little bit. I think him, Chase Young, and Aiden Hutchinson would be a nice duo in the backfield, bro. That would be disgusting as a defense. That'd be nice. And then maybe go for a receiver to help Amon-Ra St. Brown from being doubled, but that's what I would do.
I got one thing to say about the division.
Okay.
Ryan Tannehill is a Minnesota Viking for the foreseeable future.
Ryan Tannehill.
for Kirk Cousins dealing with his own injury and whatever's going on in Minnesota, and now Ryan Tannehill again injured, yes, but Willis looks good.
Go get the sign. Get the sign.
I don't got the sign up. Oh my! Don't disrespect the Dolphin great like that. Come on. I'm telling you right now, Ryan Tannehill will be in Minnesota by the end of this week. But yeah, that's the one thing I'll probably say about that division. I mean, I think the Lions got it locked. Everyone else just settled in for the draft.
All righty then. Let's move on after that take.
With Kirk Cousins,
man, I don't know what Brandon's been. Man, those people barking.
Really I think Ryan Tannehill was big. Come on.
Hey, those people, I'm telling you, those people barking at Brandon really did something to him. NFC South, guys. What we got in the NFC South?
We got the Saints. That's what we got. That's all we got in that division. Panthers right now dealing with Bryce Young era. Buccaneers have to deal with Baker Mayfield, who surprisingly has been playing pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
If I would have to say anything, probably add more weapons right there for probably for the running game for Tampa. I would also want to say maybe Derek Carr as well, because Michael Thomas is not going to just do everything, and Derek Carr is going to need to push that envelope a little bit more. So he might need that little push. Defensively, the division's kind of weird, but I think the offense will be a big need.
I think Atlanta needs to get rid of Desmond Ridder. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. This is my opinion.
Come on, man.
This is my opinion. I know, I understand, but I don't like Desmond Ridder. I don't think he's the guy for Atlanta. Carolina, I think they should get rid of trade Hayden Hurst. He's not being used there. Maybe get a third round, fourth round pick for him. All right, and you get rid of him. Try again next year. New Orleans. I agree that Derek Carr needs an extra weapon on the outside. I don't know who. Maybe a slot receiver or a tight end. I don't know who. Maybe Hayden Hurst. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then as for Tampa, it's scary for Tampa because if Baker Mayfield doesn't make it work with Mike Evans, because I feel like they're kind of like they're not like together. They're not like a duo, but you can see that there's like a little disconnect there.
Yeah, fading away.
And especially that Mike Evans hasn't been signed in it for an extension. It's scary heading into this coming off season. He'll be a free agent, and if it doesn't work out, he's gonna be asking for like maybe 25, 27 million a year. And I don't think Tampa Bay can afford that. So he might be gone. But if they're willing to pay him that much, Baker Mayfield and him are going to have to work something out. I just got to see that's the only problem I can see.
Okay.
If they can find that connection, Tampa Bay can take a real big leap, and they can get some W's for real.
Finally, last division, NFC West. What do you guys got on them?
Look, shout out Miramar. Shout out Broward County, shout out Miami-Dade, and shout out Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks taking that division out of nowhere. And again, I wasn't a huge believer in Seattle. I thought it was kind of like a rate, the 1 in a million type of season they had last year. But what I would say, against Seattle, they're going to have that division in lock, Arizona and the Rams. And, now the 49ers, we have no idea what's going on with them. But what I would say, Seattle needs to make a push to put themselves ahead of the 49ers for good.
I agree.
That's going to have to do all defensively. I think they do need to add more to their D-line group, whatever that's going to be available. Definitely bring it in. I know Seattle's been very active in the trade market, as we were talking about, but
they signed the guy from the Giants, Leonard Williams.
Yes.
So that's another good addition they had. So.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, definitely if Seattle wants to make that push over Kyle Shanahan and basically the 49ers offense, they got to go to the defense to do it.
Okay. Jonka, you got any last remarks on NFC West?
Cardinals, that's a whole separate segment. That's like, whew. But I said before the season started that the Seahawks and the Lions were my picks, my sleeper picks. I said it. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Geno Smith. Oh, and then Kenneth Walker in the back. Oh, Jesus, my God,
Yep.
bro, it's getting scary, bro. And let Jackson Smith get a little bit better. Let him get that experience. Oh my God, bro. I'd watch out for the Seahawks, man. Just letting everybody know.
So I already know what Brandon's pick is going to be, but team to beat in the NFC, I know Brandon's going to say the Philadelphia Eagles. Jonka, for you?
Team to beat. The Detroit Lions, their defense is a little bit suspect after losing like that to the Baltimore Ravens. I gotta see more. They don't have enough. I know Amon St. Brown is good, but they don't have that second guy, so I'm not gonna say them. The Seahawks might be my pick. I don't think Philly. Philly's been sus to me.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
As much as the record is 7-1, they've been squeaking by because the level of competition was a little bit lower, so they were able to squeak by. Dallas, their defense is elite, but just sometimes to me, the offense is just a little bit underwhelming for me.
Yeah.
If the defense doesn't get a pick six or give them good field position, that's my if. I'm gonna have to say Seattle, but as of right now, it's between Seattle and the Cowboys for me. Kirk Cousins went down, JJ went down. The Vikings are out. That's a crap show. I don't want to say it live, but like that's a creep show. But I'm in between the Dallas Cowboys and the Seahawks right now.
I'm going to stay true and honest to my pick. I think when San Francisco is healthy and they got it all together, they're a scary team. Scary, scary team. So,
but as of right now, though,
there's
if you weren't behind Jimmy Garoppolo, how can you be behind Brock Purdy?
They don't have Debo. I mean, they still have McCaffrey, but like without Debo, they're completely different.
They do. But that's what I said when they're completely healthy and together. So, but for right now, I mean, I'm not gonna change my pick. We'll see later on as the season goes on. But I'm gonna stick with San Francisco. With that, folks, it is the end of our show of episode 115. I hope you guys enjoyed this NFL trade deadline special. Remember, the trade deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be excited and looking forward to see what moves go on and what moves will happen and occur. Again, you guys can follow us on all our social media. We got Twitter or X or whatever you call it, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Follow us on all of our social media to stay updated. Again, we appreciate you guys a lot for tuning in week and week out and staying in touch. And we'll see you guys for a brand new episode next week. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Support the troops.